Hello everyone, welcome back to the Blossoming Together Minisode. Today I kind of wanted to go over how to prepare for the BCBA exam. I know this is very hard for a lot of people, and it was for myself as well. It feels very nerve-wracking going into an exam that really determines the next steps in your career, and you've already been working so hard to reach this point. So now I wanted to go over some tips and tricks that can help you. So to better help you feel prepared for the exam, the best thing to do is kind of understand what the exam entails. So if you're going to take the BCBA exam, remember that you get 4 hours to test and it's 185 questions. If you're going to take the BCABA exam, it's also 4 hours and 160 questions. The BCBA examinations are composed of multiple choice questions. Each question has 4 possible answers and only 1 correct answer. It's also important to note 10 of the questions on these exams are unscored. So remember that BCBA recommends preparing for the exam by reviewing each task list very thoroughly. So right now we're on the 5th edition task list, so it would be helpful if you're preparing for this examination to go through that task list and make sure you understand all of the principles and concepts for those content areas. Also, it's important to note that now the BCBA exams are in person, so you would probably set up a time to take it at one of the Pearson testing sites and take it there. So now that you have developed your studying schedule, the next things you need to start doing is actively studying. I know this can be hard depending on the type of learner you are. Personally, I had a hard time dedicating 4-hour chunks to studying without using my phone, so I had to kind of give it to a friend or my husband to hide away from me, and I needed to start practicing in locations that resembled a testing site. So while I was in these locations, I used all my study materials. There's lots of different study materials, and you'll learn the value of these study materials as you start studying, but some recommendations I have are Pass the Big ABA exam book. Good old Cooper is great to reference back at. The Blossom website has a lot of ABA quizzes that you can take that are based off of the Cooper exams that you can also use. It's very important to start getting fluent on a lot of the definitions you see in these manuals and these books, because they help build these concepts up for you when you apply them to take your exam. So next, after you start becoming fluent in everything, what you'll start doing is you should start taking some mock exams. Mock exams are scary because they're just as long as the real exam, but that's okay. Your first one, just use it as baseline, see where you are and see what you're lacking in, and then use that to start building up more of your concepts. And then it might be beneficial to take a mock exam every week. That is what I was doing when I was studying. I was taking one every week, so I was able to see what I still needed practice on and what I needed to do to prepare for the exam. So I used to also have like fake whiteboard I would take with me when I was taking my exams, but I learned that it wasn't really beneficial for me to try to remember like definitions or key terms to put on there, but it was really beneficial for me to use that whiteboard because I like to cross off answers when I'm taking an exam. So I learned that you can't do that on a computer, so I just used to write A for A and then B and C and D, and then I would just cross off things I knew weren't the right answers, so I was able to visualize what was left. It was also very beneficial to try to limit my breaks during mock exams, because while you're testing, it's a whole process when you have to go take a break. You have to raise your hand, they sign you out, then when you come back, they go over everything with you, they check you all over again. They started limiting my breaks as well, and then I feel like I trained my body a little bit to be without water or food for that bit, and then only to drink that stuff when I was taking a break. Other things that were helpful for me when I was taking a mock exam was trying to do it at a library and away from my house, because at home I got pretty distracted or I would hear things that were going on. Other things that were helpful for me was to take, after I did the mock exams, review all of those questions that I got wrong and figure out why they were wrong. Other things that were helpful for me was also studying in groups. I was really lucky where I was. We had group supervision where we worked on mock exams, we worked on test questions and picking apart those. So if you don't have one where you work, there's lots of Facebook groups you can join and just say like, hey, is there anyone out there that wants to study this is the time zone I'm in. You're gonna get plenty of comments and lots of people reaching out to you that you can set something up with. Your practicum advisor or your practicum supervisor may be a beneficial person to go to in these situations as well. I used to go to mine with questions I was getting wrong and I didn't understand. They would help me understand what I missed, or if I wasn't applying the concept correctly, they were able to help me with that. So after you're done, after you've been taking some mock exams and you feel like you've gotten a lot of practice, then you probably can just start chilling a little. Just keep up with your stuff if you still have time, or if you're really close to your exam date, just keep staying in a routine until you get there. While I'm giving you all these tips, I know that it's not easy and it can be very stressful when you're also, say you're still working 40 hours a week and you have to practice for this exam, or you have children and you have to practice for this exam. Life is not easy, so remember to use some self-care practices, take breaks. If you're feeling burnt out, come back to it. Maybe take a month off and come back to it. Do physical activity. Sitting at a desk for 4 hours every day, or maybe more because you're dedicating more time to it every night, is not easy on your body. So go out, work out, take a walk. And then remember, we're all in this field. We know about behavior analytic principles. We can use one of the simplest ones. Use some positive reinforcement. Set up some awards for yourself. So say you worked or you studied for 2 hours. That was your goal. Reward yourself with something cool like movie night or going out with your friends, something of that sort. Remember, because you're the one implementing it, it can be really hard not to give in if you didn't complete. So maybe you can find a friend to hold you accountable, or a spouse or a partner to hold you accountable as well, and provide you with this reinforcement. Oh man, I fell asleep. Guys, I'm so sorry. I forgot to tell you that I'm wishing you guys all the best of luck. You guys are gonna make great BCBAs one day. I already know you're in the right spot preparing for the BCBA exam. When you do pass, don't forget to watch and listen to the Blossoming Together podcast for some free CEUs. Bye!